And we are live. Hey guys, this is Ruben from Dubb, and I'm here with Frans, and we're going to talk about deep integrations into the internet. And we've been working on this integration for some time now, and it's with this incredibly exciting company called PieSync. And PieSync was recently acquired by HubSpot, and the reason why PieSync is going to change the game and is changing the game is because it's all about the synchronous two-way integrations, information going back and integration coming to it. So that changes everything when it comes to integration, marketing automation, data syncing. Zapier has been around for a long time. We love Zapier. We have a deep integration with Zapier. It's awesome, but the lacking of that is getting that two-way sync. So Frans, I'd love to understand what two-way syncing means with CRMs and with data and sort of how that's valuable for folks.
Hey, Ruben, thanks for having me. We love Zapier too. We use it for a lot of things over at PieSync and now HubSpot. When something happens, hey, ping me on Slack. When an email arrives, do this. Zapier is great for that type of stuff. But the one thing that Zapier is not as good in is this idea of, you know what, I have a contact. Say I have you, Ruben, in my Dubb as a recipient of videos. Say I have Ruben as well, sitting here in MailChimp, sitting here in HubSpot. And those two Rubens are the exact same Ruben, but they're not really exactly the same towards HubSpot and Dubb. They both have databases, and they consider Ruben just to be, contact ID 1234, and here it's contact ID ABCD. And those databases need to talk constantly to one another because you have changes happening to that contact. I may be working in HubSpot, looking at Ruben. There you are. I may have find a phone number in your email. I'm going to add that phone number to Ruben. Well, that phone number won't find its way into, say, my iCloud, say my other systems where Ruben also sits. Say that I'm sending you an email, and I'm making changes in Dubb. I'm tagging you in Dubb. Where does that tag end up? Well, it's just going to stay in Dubb. Wouldn't it be cool to actually get all of the information, not just you as a person in other systems, but like all of you in other systems, and I can just make changes to you anywhere I come across Ruben in my systems. HubSpot, MailChimp, there's so many apps we're using these days, and contacts are in all of them. So PieSync sets up that two-way sync. Wherever you make a change, it changes it in the other system. It's as simple as that, really.
Powerful. That's really powerful, man. So I'm just going to share my screen, and I'm going to show some of these integrations.
Yeah.
Because when I think I personally realized what the value was when I saw this landing page come to life, because I realized A, how integrated you guys are already within the marketing automation ecosystem, and then B, now as a result, how many places Dubb can integrate. So here's 220 other apps that now Dubb can integrate just by integrating with PieSync. So what a powerful way to access such a larger infrastructure. I mean, just to kind of look at some of the now, are these alphabetically ordered?
Those are indeed alphabetically ordered. If you want to hit apps on top, you can. They're sort of ranked also by popularity.
Okay, got it.
We also have a classification system. But you're hitting the nail right on the head there. Marketing automation has been a great focus of us because it is contact centric. It's all about contacts. Everything that you can't do marketing automation without contacts. Another good focus that we've had in recent years is real estate, CRMs. CRMs you have in all kinds of flavors. You have the more generic CRMs. You also have vertical driven CRMs such as real estate CRMs. We're having a lot of those as well, which I know is definitely somewhat of a good spot with Dubb users as well. So
for people that actually want to integrate Dubb with Dubb, this is actually a good way to do it.
We're getting those as well. It's more of a niche case, but we do have those.
Yeah, this is so interesting, man. I mean, the possibilities are really endless. As I go through this, first of all, I haven't heard of some of these companies. And it's really great for me to understand really the larger ecosystem. I mean, there's Less annoying CRM. How cool of a name is that?
They're a CRM.
Yeah, that's amazing. You know, and that live space. I mean, there's so many interesting new CRMs on here. I mean, one of the things that happens to me when I look at stuff like this is that I just get overwhelmed. You know, and because I think what happens to a lot of people is that they get stuck in the technology. You know, it's like technology for technology's sake, and it's this idea of there's so many toys out there that I want to consume and then I want to use and then I want to try. And the problem with doing that is that you're not productive. You take a lot of your time and you spend so much time doing this. And you know, full disclosure, I've done this pretty much my whole adult life, trying to use technology, trying to break technology. I mean, one of the things that I always like to evangelize or always like to talk about, and always as a student like to learn about, is how can I develop a stack that works for me, that does not require that I spend so much time researching technology, but just using technology to actually move the business forward and have fun in the process. So what is your take on how to kind of how to figure out, you know, what CRM should I use? What automation systems should I use? How can I get all this stuff integrated? How do I use a video platform and make it simple?
There's different, there's all kinds of different implementations of a stack, and do whatever works best for you is an easy enough answer. The trend, though, that we've been seeing is one where, you know what, that list of apps that you're seeing, that was just a subset, right? That's just the ones that we support. In fact, Scott Brinker, who is VP of platform at HubSpot, which PieSync is a part. He makes this.
He's a great guy. You know,
he makes a landscape, right?
Yeah,
he makes that landscape of SaaS apps these days.
He's great. He was actually on our podcast. He was on my podcast, and I interviewed him. So that's a great combo.
So he's I mean, he just finished his 2020 landscape. Again, more apps. He was thinking it was actually finding a plateau. Nope, it's going up again. More and more apps.
Right. Now, how does he do that? Does he have a team that does that?
Oh yeah, he has a team. And now he's actually like opened up the database, which is great. So you can go and look up, which is what a lot of people were asking. But there's more and more apps, and it's easy to find. Like, there's not only more apps, but there's also more different use cases. Like, I like to always look at his chart, not so much as like, of course, there's new logos being added, but there's also new categories being created. There's apps indeed for video marketing. There's apps for managing your YouTube channel specifically. Like, there would be an app for that, right? That's what they were saying. There's an app for that. Well, there's also a SaaS app for any specific niche activity, and that is sometimes what it takes now to spark innovation in a company. And if you're motivated by this nice piece of technology that will allow you to do a very specific niche task, go for it, man. You should try it out, that software. That being said, it would harm your success if you're not always tying it back to some sort of central database. And that kind of, you have these platforms that pretend that they do it all, like it's an all-in-one marketing suite or whatever. Those more often than not will actually lead you to looking for these other niche solutions, because the all-in-one marketing platform will never do exactly what you want to do for that specific use case. So that's really why you are going online, looking for other solutions to specifically that task. So you're going to find these separate apps, but you should always tie it back to a central repository, central database. And of course, I'm biased, and I don't want to evangelize HubSpot too much, but HubSpot would be one of those platforms where you'll just make sure that all of the apps that you are using, you're letting them again point towards that central database. But that could be Salesforce as well. It could be Google Contacts for that matter.
Right.
If you're starting out small, it could just be that. It should be a central database where you're going to say, you know what, this is my customer database, and this is how I segment them, how I tag them.
Yeah, you know, we're huge fans of HubSpot. Actually, I've gone through a number of the certifications on HubSpot, and I've had overall a very positive experience with the ecosystem. You know, I think it's a great place to get started. I think that you can create a CRM. I think you can get your marketing automation. I really like how HubSpot now has the ability to have a cheaper option with some of the HubSpot branding on it. So that's just if people are okay with the kind of co-brand, then it's still a way to kind of save some money. HubSpot Premium Enterprise without any of the branding, it starts to get a little bit expensive. So there are some kind of prohibitive factors of it. But that said, when we're investing into technology, it's like investing into a staff. It's like you get this technology effectively replaces what people used to do. Now, it doesn't mean that there's less jobs. Now the jobs are more about creativity and content creation and product development and conversations and sort of the human element. But really that idea of automating things can save money, and it's like hiring people on your team. Yeah. So, at the end of the day, it is an ROI. It is a positive ROI if you're doing it. The thing that frustrates me the most with marketing automation, and we are definitely guilty of this, is not having your automation set up in an optimized way, not getting your drip emails set up, not getting your automation, not tagging, not creating smart lists, not giving that data and tracking the customer journey and giving that information to the right person. How many people are on your team? What is your annual revenue? These are questions that if we don't ask in the automation process, in the customer journey, in that form that people are filling out, we're not getting the right amount of information to be able to prospect, to score, to prioritize, to figure out what our low-hanging fruit is. These types of data are so important to understand where we should spend our time. One of the things that Dubb has done is we don't hold back on love. We try to give love and support to every single person in our ecosystem, whether it's a single solopreneur or whether it's an enterprise company. But truth be told is that we would not be a smart business if we had sales calls with one single individuals. It would not make sense for us. It makes sense for us to create original content and to create support videos and get those to the smaller groups, and then to have one-on-one kind of sales calls or demos with the enterprise folks. The only way that that's possible is by asking, what is your team size? What is your annual revenue? How long are you looking to sign up to Dubb? Those types of information allow us to lead score, and that information needs to exist within our CRM, within Dubb. Two-way sync wins. Two-way sync wins all.
You need to get that information centrally stored, but that doesn't mean that, because this oftentimes leads to this almost weird behavior where you are requiring certain users to only make changes in that one app, otherwise it gets lost. So
yes.
That's always super weird that you have to force folks to only work in that app, right? Because only when you change it there, then after a batch night, we have this robot running, and then it's going to send that information over to this other system. That's not how people work these days. It's 2020, right? If I'm working in Dubb and there's like this actual ability for me to change your name, your spelling, to enrich your data, to tag you, why am I not allowed to do that? I want to be able to use the tools that are there, and I just want to expect that everything just will sync back to the other tool. It also makes it easier. You only have to train somebody using perhaps that one system, right? And that user will use that system, and whatever the user does in that system, those changes will propagate over to the other side. Whereas you can take another team with another responsibility, work on the same client data in their own little environment, and it's gonna just sync back to the other app. It just makes so much more sense.
I love that, and you guys have made the process really easy. One of the things that I want to kind of let people know about is, and I'll just share my screen here,
please,
is how they can kind of get this set up. Yep. So I think it's important to kind of know how to get signed up here. So I think you go to piesync.com/Dubb. That's the URL. And then you can either sign up with email or sign up with Google. And then I think what you're going to do is you're going to create maybe you could just take it from here, but or if you can show something or anything that you can kind of explain how people can kind of integrate this, I think that would be really helpful.
Well, in fact, if you hit sign up free on the top right there's even more options, because it may be worthwhile pointing out that hey, if you hit more options, if you're using any of these CRMs, in the middle of your screen, there's like more options. Yep. Hey, you can just OAuth your way in with any of these CRMs directly. Now, we actually support more, but these are just like one-click sign-in. So you will basically funnel your connection in through the CRM that you happen to see there. And then you'll basically set up your sync with the one other app you'd like the data to sync with, Dubb.
I've never seen this many ways to log into a website. I've never
we just wanted to be accommodating, Ruben.
That's really powerful. That's really powerful.
So the idea is real simple. You're gonna go set a two-way sync. In fact, can I share a screen?
I'd love to. Please give us the tactical demo here.
Let's see if I share the right one. Are you seeing this move?
Yeah, we can see your screen.
So let me actually jump in my my logged in. So this is what you'll see if you're actually logged in. I already had a sync running with HubSpot. Why not? Let's actually run HubSpot. I actually got Keller Williams command here as a real estate CRM. I want to show you the settings screen of, because you actually just made a change to my to my sync, but that's fine, to my account, but that's fine. It still works. This is the beauty of PieSync. Now I'm showing HubSpot in relation with Dubb. One very important thing to note here is that it doesn't matter that I'm showing HubSpot, right? Ruben, you showed the list of 220 apps. In fact, we're launching a new app every week. It's just a constantly expanding portfolio. Whether I'm showing HubSpot, whether I'm showing your favorite CRM, whether I'm showing your marketing automation platform, this exact screen will look the same. It's the same layout that will always come back. That's also a bit of a difference with Zapier. With Zapier, you're never really sure as to what triggers and actions are going to be available. There's lots, but it's always going to be like a different show at the end of the day. Whereas with PieSync, well, we want you to know what you're going to get. You're going to get a two-way sync. You're going to get basically the database that you hold of contacts, right? We're going to get that database in Dubb to talk two-way with the other database that sits in your app. And in fact, that's where we can either just leave it at its default settings and they'll just be identical. Typically, though, you have different ways of working with Dubb. You have different ways of, in my case, working with HubSpot. We want to give you some rules as to, allow you to control how the data will flow. So in my case here, what I've done is, you know what, I don't want just any old contact that sits in HubSpot. I just automatically want to throw them in Dubb. I'm actually making it dependent from a list, just so that if I'm in my HubSpot and I put somebody in a list in Dubb, that contact is, for me, eligible to be going into Dubb. And in fact, they're also going to be getting a tag, HubSpot, which is going to come in handy. So I can, as I'm looking at my database in Dubb, I can immediately spot, oh, there's a contact. Well, not only does it come from the API, it actually comes from HubSpot. But the interesting thing here with PieSync is this comes, as I construct this rule, it's a two-way sync. So you know what, if I'm in Dubb and I give a tag HubSpot to an existing contact, that contact will then also go into HubSpot and it will be added to that static list. If I take away the tag, it's going to go out of that list. You're constantly basically taking it from two angles. You don't have to, because I take it that's perhaps lots of things happening at the same time. You can make it a one-way sync where you're pushing contacts constantly into Dubb, or you're getting contacts out of Dubb and you want to constantly throw. You can make it a one-way sync, but I really like the two-way factor of it. So you're basically allowing yourself to make changes on both sides. That's PieSync. It's that simple. Wow. It's defining the rules, and of course, field mapping is how you will show up. You can see the data that is being exchanged by default, but then you have tags in Dubb. HubSpot famously does not have tags. Ruben, you know this.
I have to raise my hand here, and I gotta say that is the weirdest thing. That's the one thing I've never understood. Please explain.
I've seen I come in contact with a lot of customers that use a tag-driven CRM. it ain't always pretty, Ruben. Giving certain folks a tagging mechanism to start putting structure to their contacts will sometimes lead to having 200 or so different tags.
That makes sense.
So
that makes sense.
Then take the decision to, you know what, not include tags at all in your CRM. That's another thing. But I'm here's a setup with Keller Williams Command. It's a real estate CRM, and in fact, here I do have the ability to make sure that the tags that I'm using in my Dubb, or you're using them in Keller Williams Command. You're using them in your real estate CRM. All of those tags, you can just have them carry over and be dropped inside the Dubb tags here. And that's quite huge, right? Just having the ability to work on the tags in the environment that you prefer.
Yes, I love that.
And it will just sync over to the other side.
Now, I love what you said about tag management. I totally agree with you. That's insightful for me because, you know, tags can get a little gnarly. There's no doubt about that. I mean, people have, you know, hundreds of tags. And after a while, it's hard to make sense of those. You know, one of the things that I love about HubSpot is that it has those smart lists.
Yeah.
And those smart lists, I think you can create those in a manual way, but then you could also create those dynamically so that they're ever growing, like static and smart, I think they're called.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's essentially a saved filter. It's an active list and it's a saved filter. You define the different scenarios that need to take place for a contact to appear in a list.
Nice. So my question for you is this. So the Dubb roadmap, okay, we're very aggressive with our technology and building, and we're constantly trying to figure out the direction in which we should go as a platform, right? So one of the things that we recently launched is we kind of play in this realm of, you know, video creation, video production. You know, we just launched virtual backgrounds, which is really kind of a cool feature. I saw you playing around with the virtual background in Zoom before, which is awesome to see. So we have some fun with that, you know. And then there's this idea of Dubb as a mini CRM. You know, does the world need another CRM? Maybe not. Probably not. There's hundreds of them, if not thousands. You know, but we sort of act like a CRM. I mean, there's contacts and there's, you know, campaigns and there's tags. So, you know, Dubb is an embryonic CRM. We're going to be launching tasks pretty soon, and we're going to have, you know, opportunities. So we're sort of going into that realm just simply because we have to, because of syncing reasons. And I think the next thing is, you know, this idea of you know, Dubb as an automation system, Dubb using artificial intelligence, machine learning, and, you know, all sorts of really intelligent ways to communicate information. Yeah. And I think that one of the things that I love to ask people is that you going through the experience of integrating Dubb with all these powerful platforms, what do you think we should focus on from a product roadmap perspective? Should we, you know, what are the one or two things that you might have found missing? You know, for example, you mentioned this, we talked about lists in HubSpot. You know, should we have lists on Dubb? So give me some ideas, and, you know, if you have any right now, please get back to me. But I just want to kind of plant the seed of that information.
I like, of course, that you have the ability to sync into tags. I'm not sure. Do you actually have the ability for me to sync in like custom properties? Because if you are anything like me and I were to use these tags extensively, I'm going to end up with 200 or so tags, and it's gonna just basically be a tag jungle. So if there's any way for me to include like a custom checkbox, basically imagine if I'm a restaurant, and do I have the ability to just store somebody's dietary restrictions in here? Is there a custom field that I can be populating? Because that's obviously what a CRM has, right? A CRM gives you that ability to take those custom properties, create custom properties, make them a checkbox, make them a numerical field, storing all kinds of information. A CRM comes with lots of fields out of the box.
Yes.
And HubSpot, in fact, comes through a lot of those fields, which is kind of their take as to, you don't need tags. We already made some classifications for you. Use these, which is good. Still, you can create new custom properties. Is that something that Dubb is imagining to do?
We love that. We think about that a lot. You know, in fact, it's on our product roadmap, and it's been something I've been working on actually with the team, is custom fields. And the way that we're going to structure that is that it's going to be an input field, radio button,
Right.
single select, multi-select,
Nice.
and then I think a paragraph. So those are I think that's 5. I think those are the 5 ones that we're going to do.
Because here's where you want to kind of look at. You're mentioning that did you use the word hybrid CRM? That's the route that a lot of software is taking,
Yes.
right? There's just so much more data that we are collecting for good and for bad. If anything, being subscribed or being unsubscribed, those opt-in preferences, we actually do sync those, right? So if you are if you unsubscribed or unsubscribed, you want to sync that over to your other systems as well, because you're not always going to be using just Dubb to send out maybe a mass email. But if you're unsubscribing, hey, you got to be respectful. You got to send that opt out also to your other systems. That's one thing. But if I'm a real estate agent and I would be using software like Command, which is what Keller Williams agents would be using, well, I have things like, what stage are you in? What's your spouse's name? What is the lead scoring that I've given you in my CRM here? I want to be able to actually take that information and then map it to a field over on Dubb side, because in Dubb I can then use the different attributes to automatically make some emails better, make the subject line slightly different for this or that industry. I'm not sure if you need lists. If you have a clever enough system that allows me to send campaigns to certain segments, that's fine. Whatever you end up calling it, lists, segments.
Nice.
You need the data.
Awesome, man. That's great feedback. And we're going to activate that. So I really appreciate the feedback. And I want to encourage people right now to go to piesync.com/Dubb. I'm going to put a link actually in the captions so people can just click on that.
Great.
And I really appreciate your time.
No worries. Thanks for allowing us to show Dubb. We're super excited about this connector. It's I think we've had it up for 2 weeks now, so already getting some good organic traction. So we're really excited to see where this is going.
Very cool, man. Thank you so much for the time, Frans. I just have one final question. Where is the best place to get Belgian fries? When this thing opens up and we're traveling again, what's your number one spot?
In Belgium?
Yeah.
Oh, you'll don't go to we call it fritkot. It's like a little booth that you would find on various marketplaces. So whichever booth you'll find will actually often be good fries.
And what is the secret? What is the secret ingredient in those that you love?
I'm a kind of I like sauces. So in America they often joke about the fact that we put mayonnaise on our fries. But that's what we do.
Well, that's a classic scene out of
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction,
yeah. But hey, try it. If you're watching this and you have never tried mayonnaise on your fries, do it. Go for it.
Nice, man. Thank you so much for the time.
Thanks.
See ya.
Bye, Ruben.
Bye-bye.